family vacation turns into a search here in Central Florida. This 18-year-old boy was last seen on Friday right before he went to visit family in Brevard County. And Fox 35's Esther Bauer is hearing from his family.
This 18-year-old has been missing since early Friday morning, and Giovanni Pelletier's family is spreading their search to the Space Coast.
We've been searching for like 3 days in Bradenton County and stuff like that, and we haven't found anything, so we're just pretty much searching literally where we can.
The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office says Giovanni was vacationing with his family in Englewood before leaving around 1:30 in the morning on Friday to visit more family in Brevard County. Investigators say he was traveling north on I-75 with his cousins, who told detectives Giovanni suddenly began to act erratically before getting out of the car and walking away near State Road 70 in Manatee County.
We don't know anything. Only thing we know is that they said they dropped him off on the road.
Giovanni doesn't live in Florida and is from North Carolina. News of his disappearance is spreading like wildfire on social media, and tips are pouring in.
We had just got a bunch of anonymous tips to check this road.
That's why this search party set out on Hammock Road in Mims searching for signs.
My cousin Giovanni was missing for almost 4 days now, and we just want him to come home.
All of these vehicles lining the road were full of friends, family, and volunteers who came out here on Monday morning, doing whatever they could to help try and find this missing young man.
I'm super grateful for all the help.
His cousins are thankful for community support, but very concerned.
He didn't leave on his own. He would have been called his mom.
Do you think he was harmed?
I don't know. I don't want to answer that one.
Brevard County deputies were also on scene and spoke with the family during the search. If you know anything about what could have happened to Giovanni, please call 941-639-2101.
18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier never thought that being a part of a family group chat on his estranged father's side of the family in an attempt to meet and get to know about his father's side of the family would possibly, allegedly, be the demise of the young 18-year-old. And when the cousins that were sent out to go pick up Giovanni, while they were out on a vacation as well, Giovanni, his mom, his stepdad, and his brothers and sisters, these cousins were sent out to go pick up Giovanni and bring him back to the father, right? And where Giovanni was supposed to spend a couple of days for the summer, right? Before school went back. And guess what? Being that Giovanni was 18 years old, he was, looked at as an adult at this time. And the mother felt like, this is part of the reason why the law enforcement showed a lackluster, response to her son's disappearance. And not only that, the mother detailed that the stories kept changing amongst the cousins and what happened to Giovanni and how the events took place, right? And suspicions grew as, the family of Giovanni on the mother's side felt like the family on the father's side knew more about what they were telling law enforcement, and that maybe, allegedly, possibly, the cousins who came to pick up Giovanni had something to do with his death.
You shot straight, but you shot late. Hi, Lem. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm going to give you the rundown.
The bizarre disappearance and death of 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier is very, very suspicious. That's suspicious. The 18-year-old from North Carolina vanished last week during a out-of-state trip to reconnect with some relatives, according to his mom. And she says that one of his last messages now haunts her amid his bizarre disappearance. Giovanni Pelletier traveled to Florida in late July with his mother, Bridget Pelletier, her fiancé Jeremy Brown, and Giovanni's 4 siblings to visit a relative who was completing chemotherapy, Bridget tells People. Giovanni had been looking forward to the trip. After he turned 18 in April, he expressed an interest in getting to know his biological father's family in Florida, where he was born and had lived until about age 4, when he moved with his mom to North Carolina. His parents were never married. Bridget, 34, says she was supportive. He was craving the culture and the background from his dad's side of the family, and I couldn't give that to him, Bridget, who is of Italian and Puerto Rican descent, says of Giovanni, whose father is African American. So I wanted him to have those opportunities with his dad's side. Before his family left for Florida, Giovanni joined a text group chat with some of his paternal relatives. He arranged for 3 cousins on his dad's side to pick him up from Inglewood, Florida, where he was staying with his mom's siblings and his mom's fiance, Bridget says. She had reservations about him going alone, but she fully trusted her son, Giovanni. Brown, who was the fiance of Giovanni's mother, the stepdad, he saw Giovanni off when the teen's cousins came to get him around 1:30 a.m. local time on Friday, August the 1st. Bridget, the mother, who had been studying for an upcoming pharmacy board exam, was asleep. Okay. Within 30 minutes, Giovanni twice texted her, including a brief message. "Mom, help." He called her at 1:56 a.m. and via FaceTime a minute later and texted her sister and her father asking for help when he couldn't reach her. Wow. Bridget says she didn't see the missed calls and texts until about 6:20 a.m. on Friday, when she also realized she had a missed call from one of the cousins who had been in the car with Giovanni. That call was placed nearly an hour after Giovanni was picked up, she says. "He only called me that one time," she says, through tears of her son's cousin. "And then no effort was made to communicate with me. No effort was made to come back to the house and let me know," says Giovanni's mom. The situation grew stranger, Bridget says. Giovanni's paternal grandfather, where Giovanni had been headed with his cousins, left her a voicemail alleging that there had been some type of altercation between the young men and that the cousins had left Giovanni on the side of the road in Bradenton in Manatee County. He said he didn't have all the information, but for me to let him know when I found Giovanni, Bridget says. The grandfather declined to comment to people. The cousins could not be reached. Wow. Bridget tried unsuccessfully to reach Giovanni and then went looking for him through the GPS data on his phone. When I got to where it was, that's his phone, his bag had been left on the side of the road. It was his phone and his backpack, and he wouldn't have left that, she says. "My son eats, sleeps, showers, breathes his phone." Now, a short time later, she reached some of the family on Giovanni's dad's side, and the cousin who had called her overnight before Giovanni disappeared told her the group smoked marijuana with Giovanni after they picked him up, and that Giovanni then began to panic. The cousin also claimed that Giovanni cursed at him, used profanity, and prompting a confrontation on the side of the road, during which Giovanni allegedly pulled out a knife. When that happened, they said that they wrestled the knife from him, and then my son took off running, Bridget says. She describes that behavior as unlike her son. She gushes about his integrity and character, but believes he likely felt threatened and outnumbered. However, the story the cousin told, according to Bridget, differs from a narrative released by the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. They said in a statement on Saturday, August the 2nd, that Giovanni had traveled north on I-75 with his cousins, who advised Giovanni suddenly began to act erratically before exiting the vehicle and walking away near SR-70 in Manatee County. And yes, that does sound different from what the cousin verbally told the mother what happened with them smoking marijuana. Yikes. Wowzers. What really happened to Giovanni Pelletier, you guys? The sheriff's office, which is working the case with law enforcement in Brevard County, did not respond to a request for a comment from people. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office referred inquiries back to Charlotte County. Of course they would. Bridget says that she believes her son's cousins know more than what they have disclosed to law enforcement, and that none of the 3 have helped her or other relatives and volunteers search for Giovanni in Charlotte and Brevard counties. Wow, really? That's suspicious. That's very, very, very suspicious. Bridget has also been disappointed in what she calls a relatively lackluster law enforcement response, which she contends has been influenced by her son's age. She feels the response would have been different if Giovanni were younger than 18. The eldest of her 5 children, Giovanni has a heart of gold and is the kind of kid that when you meet him, you know he's going to impact people's lives, Bridget says. A protector by nature, she says, he always looked out for others, including one of his younger brothers who has autism. A $10,000 reward is being offered for any information leading to Giovanni's whereabouts or an arrest and conviction. Bridget says a GoFundMe has been launched to aid in the search efforts. The thing that tells me that something is wrong is that my son knows my number by heart, by memory, Bridget says. It's the only number that he knows by heart, and my son would never run away and text me, help me, because he knows that I would burn this world down to find him and that I wouldn't be scared of anything or anybody, and I'm not. But she continues, I feel so helpless right now because I have no direction. Family members of Giovanni Pelletier from North Carolina began searching off Hammock Road in Mims after reportedly receiving an anonymous tip. On Monday morning, around 20 people joined the search effort, using ATVs, drones, and conducting a ground search on foot. Now, the cousins would tell law enforcement, not the full truth about what happened in that vehicle and what was going on before Giovanni Pelletier got up out that vehicle for whatever reason. According to the cousins, though, they just said that he started acting erratically, okay? And then he exited the vehicle, being that he exited on his own like it was his choice, and it probably was. And then he walked away near State Road 70 in Manatee County. But in previous reports, the mother said that the cousin told her that, Giovanni pulled a knife on them after he got, paranoid and started panicking on the marijuana that they smoked with him. He pulled the knife on them, right? They wrestled the knife away from Giovanni. Nobody got stabbed, huh? Ain't that something? Now, they left all that out when they told authorities what happened, right? But they told the mother of Giovanni the alleged real story about what happened. So they wrestled this knife away according to other reports that she gave, the mother gave, that the cousins is saying what happened, right? And they claimed that, he just got out the vehicle according to, this report, and he walked away. But the mother said that they told her he pulled the knife on him. They wrestled the knife away, and then he ran away, okay? So, it's conflicting stories here, and this is why the family is saying they believe, allegedly, possibly, okay? These cousins on the father's side could allegedly be possibly involved in the murder of her son, Giovanni Pelletier.
Mom, help. An ominous text message that has a local family fearing the worst after a Fuquay-Varina teen vanished while visiting family in Florida. Now the family is looking for any type of help to bring him home. WRL's Sean Gallagher joining us from Fuquay-Varina. And Sean, give us an idea about that text message, when it was sent and how long it's been since anyone has heard from this teenager.
Yeah, Dan, it's been about a week now, and family tell me that Gio Pelletier is very close with his mother, which makes this all the more concerning that the last time she had a message from him was about a week ago with that ominous text message.
The ask is simple for the Pelletier family.
We just want him home. That's the end goal here.
But there are few answers at this point for his Aunt Desiree. Last Friday, while in Florida on vacation, Gio Pelletier went to hang out with some of his cousins. It was very early in the morning, about 1:30 a.m. Desiree says they had just arrived after a long road trip from North Carolina.
It was a later time. And somewhere along the drive between, 20 to 25 minutes, the text came out to my sister.
Mom, help. An urgent plea his mom and other family members missed as they were asleep.
What was he feeling in that moment? And that's why we're just so terrified, and we want to find him. We want him home.
Gio's cousins told the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office he was acting erratically before exiting the vehicle and walking away. But the family questions their account, saying one gave a fake name to law enforcement, and they changed their story about what happened. But especially because Gio left a bag and his phone behind on the side of the road, with the lasting image of that final text message.
Him saying help is not, that's not normal. No one can convince our family differently, and especially my sister, that something is wrong, something happened.
The family continues a daily search in the area where he was last seen in Florida, and they've also included a $10,000 reward for anyone that can provide any information that helps them locate Gio.
And the organization was there helping the family as well search for Giovanni. And they said that they received several anonymous tips directing them to check along Hammock Road and Mims. So where did all these anonymous tips start coming from, you guys? Who knew about Giovanni's whereabouts up to a week, maybe, before they even said something? If the family had not went out there and started searching, nowhere, right? Would these anonymous tips had came in, had this $10,000 reward not been, put up for the whereabouts and a conviction, of any alleged involvement, if it's any, right? And I do believe it is, you guys, because come on now. The mother even said this boy wouldn't go nowhere. Giovanni would not leave that phone, right? He breathes and eats, sleeps with his phone, as a lot of these kids do, right? And he just left his phone behind in the bag on the side of the freeway that a trucker found? Nah, I don't believe so. He texted mom help. Allegedly he texted. Allegedly he FaceTimed. He called twice, right? Then he made calls to the grandfather on his mother's side and his aunt on his mother's side to help. What happened? Right? Didn't they not come out? Did they not relay the message? I mean, it's just so many, different variables and aspects to this that, and questions that are still looming about this whole suspicious case. A family member stated that they just had got a bunch of anonymous tips and to check this road. And she said that they were hoping to find him. We don't care about anything other than finding him. Literally, nothing else matters. We just want him to come home, she added. All right. And when one of the family members was asked if she believes that Giovanni was harmed, she didn't want to answer that because, who wants to answer that, man? We don't want to speculate. We just hope he's alive, as they said earlier in the article. That's what they hoped for. And they didn't care about nothing else but finding him alive. Tierra Hadley, another cousin of Pelletier, does not believe that he left on his own. Does not believe that Giovanni got out of that car just, free willingly. He did not leave on his own. He would have been calling his mom, Hadley said. We just want to know if anybody knows anything. Tell us and let us know something. And when they, tracked it on the GPS, his phone was inside the bag, right? On the side of the freeway, I assume, or, close to where he exited the vehicle out of. So this right here tells me, why would he leave his phone behind, for one? Why would he text his mom, call and make all these attempts to call family, to locate family and tell them what's going on, and then put the phone back in his bag and retreat, leaving the bag there with the phone in it? And something else that caught my attention is when they said that Brown, the stepfather, he's the one that walked Giovanni out to the vehicle with the cousins in it, right? They came to pick him up at 1:30 a.m. in that morning. And they wasn't smoking marijuana then, I assume, because the stepfather would have smelt it and possibly kept Giovanni from getting in the vehicle. So if Giovanni, calls his mother and texts her and tries to reach out to her no more than 20 minutes after leaving, right, the house with his cousins, from 1:30 in the morning to 1:56 when he tried to make contact and text, right, called, made a FaceTime to her. They smoked weed that fast and he tripped out and panicked that fast. All that happened, them chain of events took place that quick. From 1:30 to 1:56. In a matter of about 26 minutes, you guys. right? They were already out on the freeway by then and driving and smoking marijuana, allegedly, according to this cousin, who says that's when Giovanni panicked, right? They pulled over, right? A confrontation happened. He cussed at the guy. He pulled out a knife. All of them wrestled the knife away without getting stabbed or cut? Really? That's miraculous. How did that not happen? Now, this is what draws suspicion from me. Y'all wrestled the knife away. Y'all were smoking marijuana. See, all these things are, red flags to me, you guys. And when the law enforcement, questions this cousin, he doesn't tell them nothing about that. But everything about, Giovanni just acting erratically, getting out the vehicle and walking away. And they let him. Really? Wow. Y'all didn't stop and, stay there for a minute and try to see, if y'all can get him back in the car, huh? You didn't say where he went or see where he went. See, all this is very suspicious. They called the father's dad, the grandfather, telling him allegedly what happened. And that's when this grandfather called the mother of Giovanni, regurgitating what's been told to him about the situation, right? And, my thing is this, man. Where was the father at? Your son is trying to get to know you and your side of the family, and you're nowhere around? That doesn't make sense at all. But, I thought about it like, man, that right there could have stopped this whole situation from happening had the dad actually went to go pick his son up. All right? He's going to meet your side of the family, man. Why are y'all sending, teenagers, kids out to go pick up another child? Even though he's 18, he's still, considered a child in the parents' eyes. About to leave the nest. And as I've been checking the reports, I haven't heard anything from the dad's side of the family. Nothing. Nobody's speaking out over there. Nobody's done an interview. Haven't heard not one peep from the estranged father's side about what happened to Giovanni Pelletier, you guys. Now that's suspicious. That's very, very, very suspicious. So after the family was searching in a desperate attempt to find their loved one, Giovanni, and they also had a volunteer group to help them search, almost up until a week later, that's when they find Giovanni's body at a pond, okay? And they said that his body was decomposing when they found it, right? And that tells us that he had been out there for a while if he was decomposing, you guys.
Activity just off of I-75 south at State Road 70, where the sheriff's office has confirmed they have found a body of a male in the water, partially decomposed, but the identity has not been confirmed. We also know this is not far from where the backpack of the missing 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier was found.
Breaking news at 6, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office believes that they have found the body of 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier, a teen who went missing while visiting family in Charlotte County last week. Hello and thank you for counting on Gulf Coast News. I'm Sarah Mankiewicz.
And I'm Madison Zaleski. Manatee County deputies found a decomposing body in a retention pond near where the teen was last seen last night. Gulf Coast News reporter Blaine Montgomery spoke to one of the search and rescue groups who helped search for the missing teen. Blaine?
The news hit the community hard. Many people were hoping to see the teen return home to their family safely. A large search was underway this week for 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier. Multiple law enforcement agencies, Giovanni's family, and an organization called We Are the Essentials all search for him relentlessly. Today, I spoke with the lead investigator of We Are the Essentials, who said they're heartbroken about this tragic news. They are grateful they were able to assist his family through such a difficult time. Lane says a group of volunteers, along with Giovanni's family, searched for him near his family's home in Inglewood throughout Manatee County. They searched for 12 to 14 hours a day since Giovanni went missing August 1st. The 18-year-old from South Carolina was last seen in Manatee County. His cousins told deputies that he started acting erratically, got out of their car, and walked off near State Road 70 in Manatee County. His mother got a text from him less than an hour later asking for help. Yesterday, investigators searched a retention pond at the south off southbound off-ramp off I-75 and State Road 70. Lane tells me extended family member discovered what he appeared to be Giovanni's body. Today, Manatee County deputies confirmed it was Giovanni Pelletier.
The family was out there every day searching. They were relentless, and they had a lot of our respect from a lot of our involvement. Giovanni was an amazing young man based on the family describing him to us, and we almost felt like we knew him after over the week of listening to the family talk about him. This past week, Giovanni became everybody's son because they were rooting for him in the media, watching what was going on, praying that he was able to come back safely.
The family tells us they found him while searching along I-75 in Manatee County. The week-long search stretched across Florida and included Brevard County. They found the boy inside a retention pond along the interstate. His backpack and cell phone were not far. Investigators say the teen was driving in the area with family members when he got out of the car and ran off. Investigators have not determined a cause of death. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow.
Giovanni Pelletier, that's that young man's name. He was last seen in Brevard County, Florida on August 1st. His phone last pinged in Manatee County near where his body was found yesterday. The Bureau's Kirsten Clark is live for us tonight in Fuquay Arena. Kirsten, Giovanni's family says this is their nightmare.
Eric, according to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, Pelletier's body was found in a retention pond off the highway. As you mentioned, this was near the area where his cell phone was last pinged. His mother also confirmed that her son's body was recovered via Facebook, saying that it was discovered during a desperate search by the family. Now, the last Pelletier's mother heard from her son was in a chilling text message he sent her on August 1st that read, "Mom, help." This was shortly after Giovanni went to hang out with his cousins around 1:30 in the morning. His cousins told the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office Giovanni was acting erratically before exiting the vehicle and walking away. But Gio's family has concerns about the cousins changing their story, and Giovanni's bag and phone were found left on the side of the road. Today I spoke with Bill Lane with We Are the Essentials. It's a group of former law enforcement and military members who were heavily involved in the search for Gio, along with his family. Lane tells me the family fought through pain and tears for days searching for the beloved teenager.
This is horrible, and this is the reason that we exist, to prevent this from happening. Our job is to be out there and do everything that we can to be that one that bears that burden. So the family, and thank God, and I pray every night, and that the family themselves, weren't the ones who actually did it. It was an extension of the family. And even for those people who are not trained and who hasn't dealt with death before, this is traumatic.
The cause of death is still unknown. Deputies with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office say an autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. We are still working to learn as much as we can about the investigation into what happened to Giovanni in Florida.
Yeah, I just feel like that's very suspicious that a lot of these anonymous tips came in saying that, to check that road. And, this right here just leads me to believe that a lot of people in the area knew where this young man's body was the whole time, and maybe they never said nothing about it until, the interest drew about who this person was that was missing. What really happened in that vehicle with Giovanni and his cousins, we may never know because we wasn't there. Will the real story come out? Not the one that the cousin told, okay? Not that story. Because at the end of the day, they said he had a knife, and they wrestled the knife away. Nobody got injured while doing that, right? That means that all of them wrestled it away, right? Not just one specific person, they. So all the cousins wrestled the knife away. That means all of them got out the car. Did he pull the knife on them in the car? Or was he outside of the car when he did it? Did all of them help wrestle it away, or was it just one person? See, there's so many different questions that haven't been answered, right? And also, where's the knife at now? And when they do the autopsy on Giovanni, will we find that he was stabbed? Wowzers. Yikes. And if he was stabbed, this right here points straight to the cousins as suspects number one. All of them. Because if he's stabbed when they come back with his autopsy, or just, law enforcement conducting their investigation, say that he had stab wounds in any type of way after a knife being mentioned by the cousin, right? Hey, that tells us everything we need to know. But until then, we have to see, you know, what the findings in the investigation are going to turn out as. Now, with that $10,000 reward for information or leading up to a conviction, right? So I'm pretty sure just because you had the information, if you led the family in the right direction, right, on Hammock Road or whatever, in Mills, now we need some information on what you seen as well. If you knew that the body was there, how did you know the body was there? Who is this person that has this anonymous information? And what else do they know? What else did they see? What else did they hear? Right? How did they gain this knowledge that this body was over there at the pond? Now that I'm speaking out on the subject, will the family of the father, right, the estranged ones, will they start doing interviews? Will they start speaking out? You know, and usually that's how it happens after, content creators like myself notice these type of things in these situations where a certain side of the family isn't speaking out during a tragedy, especially when it's, a situation like this with the family being estranged to the victim. And now that we see that, it's some, lies being told in the case by the family and how the chain of events took place and what went on, it leads for more speculation. So, love, peace, and condolences to the family, and may, they find some peace in this whole ordeal. Because at the end of the day, Giovanni did not deserve what happened to him. And, I hope that, everybody that's involved in this, right, is brought to justice. So all I can say is this whole ordeal is very suspicious to me. And if more information is brought out at a later date, I definitely will bring y'all an update on this. Well, y'all get in the comment section and let me know what y'all think about this entire situation. And until next time, this is OG Jucario TV with the latest in rap, hip-hop, celebrity, and urban news.
You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spinning with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, hey man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already know what it is, man. It's deeper than Buddha, her, you hear me? And guess what? I'm gone.